What's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bull Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So guys, it was a rough week one for the Bulls. They go 0-3 to kick off the season. In my week one preview, I predicted they would go 2-1, so clearly I was way off, as I had them beating the Hawks and the Warriors. They had their shot against the Warriors until the crushing game winner stole the game from them, but against the Hawks, it wasn't even close, let's be honest. Now, for these recap videos, I'm going to be covering things like who's the biggest surprise player of the week, and I mean that in the positive way, the player of the week, as well as the most disappointing player of the week, and then finally my biggest takeaway. I won't go over all of the details or keys for each game since I covered most of those in the pre and post game videos that I did for each game this past week. You can check out those videos from the game reports on my channel in case you missed it. And before I get into the video, guys, I did have a question for you all, as it was something I was thinking about, and I'll leave a poll on my community page so you can answer with your feedback, or you can respond in the comments below. But as many of you may or may not know, the NBA is pretty strict when it comes to copyright claims for videos, which is why you've probably noticed that most of the video footage that I have on my channel is from content of old Bulls highlights from last year or even the off season, so that I don't get hit with a copyright claim. This results in me showing a lot of same footage, old footage. So my question is, would you rather continue to see these old Bulls highlights or practices from the off season during my commentary recordings, even if it doesn't necessarily relate to the topic at hand, or would you prefer just basic still images, or even something else while I provide my commentary? I know a lot of channels do this, that it's just, you know, they do a still image during their recording, which I personally find a little boring, but it might also just be boring seeing the same old footage on every video. And I might be overthinking it, and maybe you guys don't care, but let me know what your feedback is, as I do this channel for you guys, the viewers, and I'm always open for suggestions on improvements. And now that we got that out of the way, though, let's recap the Bulls' first week of the season. Let's start with my biggest surprise player from this week, and I'm going to go with Otto Porter. I kind of have two players for this biggest surprise because I think Patrick Williams should be thrown into the mix as well. For Otto, I think I was really surprised by his consistent play off the bench. In a way, I thought, you know, he would come out frustrated that he was coming off the bench behind a 19-year-old rookie and not play his best by letting that get into his head, but honestly, he played solid and was probably the most consistent guy on this roster this week. He averaged 12 points per game, 5.7 rebounds for the week, in 21 minutes of play on decent efficiency. And you might say, okay, that's not really anything too great to be proud of, but that's why it's a surprise. I don't think he's the best player of the week for the Bulls, but rather I expected him to struggle, mainly because he was going to be coming off the bench, but he did very, very well. And I think what I liked from Otto most was his leadership on the court as a veteran presence, and one of the few players that really hustled on defense. Patrick Williams, I know he didn't have a crazy week in terms of putting up great numbers, but the reason I have him as one of my surprises for the week is really just due to the fact that for a 19-year-old kid who just got drafted a little over a month ago, coming into his first week in the league, getting the starting spot at small forward, he looked very poised and confident on the floor. He had 16 points in his NBA debut, averaging 10.3 points per game for the week, with 40% shooting from three. And he played some solid defense as well, averaging 1.7 blocks. The guy just seems to fit well in the league just from his first week, and showing that he's NBA ready, you know, and not having a summer league, having a shortened off season when it comes to training camp and the preseason. He looked great. As far as the player of the week, I'm going with Lauri Markkanen. I know this will, you know, probably upset some Bulls fans who feel that Zach Lavine deserves it more than him, but honestly, Lauri was the best out there for all of these three games consistently. Lauri averaged 20 points per game on 7.7 rebounds for the week on much more efficient shooting than Zach. Lauri shot 47.6% from three, whereas Zach had been struggling from three, only shooting 30.8%. And when you look at their player efficiency rating for the week, Lavine was a little under 15, while Markkanen was over 22. Now, I'm not saying Lauri is better than Zach overall. No, Lavine is still our best player, no question. I'm just saying in terms of who was the best player this week for those first 3 games, it was Lauri. He shot the ball well, rebounded well, and the Bulls did perform better when he was on the court. For my most disappointing player, and he kind of redeemed himself from that last game, but I still have to go with Wendell Carter Jr. You know, those first 2 games, he was just an absolute non-factor on both ends of the floor. Didn't seem engaged, was making a lot of mistakes, no aggression, just constantly looking frustrated. You know, as our starting center, we need to see more than that. Like I said, he did redeem himself a bit in the game against the Warriors, where he upped his defensive play and did significantly better on offense as well. But overall for the week, 12 points, 8 rebounds per game, averaging less than a block per game. And you know, he also shot 20% from 3. I really did expect Wendell to be one of the Bulls' most improved players this season, given he's now healthy, and he just hasn't looked like that guy that we can count on. Again, his last game was solid, and my hope that is that we can continue to see that type of play, but I won't hold my breath just yet, as it was just 1 game, and we need to see more consistency coming from Wendell. And finally, my biggest takeaway from the week, and I really said this all week in my pre and post game videos, but that's consistent play for the whole 48 minutes. Playing hard, playing with focus and energy throughout the whole game. The Bulls, they did not show that in any of the 3 games, even in last night's game against the Warriors, where they did play better. They played hard and consistently for the second half, but the first half, with the constant turnovers and the mental lapses on offense, again, it's been the biggest issue with the Bulls for a while now, not with just this week, but playing with effort the whole game, not taking quarters off or giving up on a play. That was the case last season as well. It doesn't just pertain to what we've seen thus far. Again, it's just the first week. We've only played 3 games, so I'll give our guys the benefit of a doubt to prove me wrong in that regard, that they do have the capability to play hard the entire game. But thus far, I'm still waiting to see it. I'll be coming out with my weekly preview video for this upcoming week later today. In the meantime, let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the Bulls and their play for this first week. Do you agree or disagree with my takeaways from the past week of games? Also, just a reminder, I am hosting a giveaway for a $50 gift card. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel to be entered to win. I will be closing the drawing once the channel hits 2,000 subscribers, so still plenty of time to get in. As always, appreciate your guys' support on the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one.